Now we are on the last leg of the show. Liberia's ruling Unity Party has expelled the country's outgoing president, Johnson Sirleaf, whom they accuse of meddling in last year's presidential elections, in which its candidate suffered a bruising defeat.
Truly bruising defeat there. Now, Johnson Sirleaf, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate who has been in power for 12 years, denies the party's allegations that she upheld or held inappropriate private meetings with election magistrates before the October 10 election. Now, 4 other party officials were also expelled. The party said Johnson Sirleaf and the other members had violated rules, including one, a requirement to support all Unity Party candidates in elections. Okay, very interesting requirement by the party constitution there. Indeed. Well, Cyril Abaku, senior researcher at TVC, is here to discuss this with us. Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you.
That particular requirement in the party constitution, that means that constitution actually envisaged a situation where an incumbent would not use their incumbency to support, you know, the party's candidate.
Well, everything is a product of politics. I mean, it begins with politics, it ends with politics. It's a political process. For one, morality demands that if you're a party member, you toe the party line. There's no, I mean, whether there's a law stating that or not, but it's only normal that when, particularly as president, you're the leader of your party. So you're the one who is to provide the moral support and make sure that that everything goes as it should. But I think that the last elections in Liberia were extraordinary.
Truly.
They were beyond the political system itself. Or, no, they were beyond the political parties themselves. For a number of reasons. What you hear about the meeting with the judges, I can't sit there and confirm that to you. Those are allegations. And I don't know if...
and she has denied the allegations?
Of course. And I do not know if beyond denial, there are instruments that could enable a secret redress. But I think that the party has made a fatal mistake. They have made a very big mistake. It's their gambit ahead of the next elections. It's their gambit at putting the party back together. Because, of course, obviously, Johnson didn't quite come out to give Joseph Boakai, for instance, the sort of support that could have helped him to win the elections. A lot of things played out, okay? In the first instance, there was the issue of the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, and George Weah's CDC. What happened basically was that suddenly, all of a sudden, Charles Bromskin of the Labour Party, had so many cars in his election fleet, considering his war chest and resources that were available to him. And then the leader of the head of a leading government agency, the Liberian Forestry Agency, decamped from the Unity Party, being a core Sirleaf loyalist, into the Labour Party. And people said, look, condemn this decampment or call him to order. She didn't do that. So while the Unity Party was weakened and the relatively smaller Labour Party was swelling, George Weah's party was gaining momentum.
Yes.
And eventually this candidate support. I was about to mention that. And then apart from that, it seems that the president, Sirleaf, put herself out there with some of the statements she made even before the election, saying that it was about time for the country to have a young leader.
Yes.
So it was so obvious because we know that our vice president is very old.
It was obvious, and I think that for me the first salvo came when Joseph Boakai, in his concession speech, I read it very carefully. He thanked Liberians for giving him the chance to have been a VP for the
12 years.
For 12 years. He congratulated George Weah, but he never made any reference to his boss. So it was clear that there was bad blood brewing. But that's not enough. She is still president, and you're sacking her from the party, but she's still president, which means she can still use the resources of state to still get away.
Yes.
And whatever she's going to do may not particularly be favorable to the Unity Party.
Unity Party.
It is
and the question is, why couldn't they even just wait? I mean, January 22 is just around the corner. Why couldn't they wait to, wield the big stick?
Again, it comes to bad strategy. Because, for instance, when you sack an Johnson Sirleaf, look, even in Nigeria here, despite everything Obasanjo did, it took him himself
to leave the party,
to tear his membership card. Even after he had torn it, up until some months ago, members of the PDP, you will hear in the reports, we are still trying to get back to him to say, Baba Ejo, come back and help us rebuild. So they're making a very big mistake. Now, a scenario could be this. by the time they are done with the house cleaning, because again, you have to factor in the fact that Ellen Johnson is not just Johnson by herself. She has a critical block in the party. If she takes her block out of the party,
if she leaves, her supporters leave.
I mean, she's already been expelled anyway. So it means you are expelling an entire block. If there's such a strong caucus that could muster the courage and the will to take out of the party, they should have waited for her to have left power first. But now the fact is that they've already done the deed, and so they are now where they are. Obviously, they need to be sure that they are not having that they have no snakes or other.
But really, come to think of it, how much of an asset is Johnson Sirleaf to the Unity Party, apart from the factor of incumbency? Is it possible that she would have seen herself as a liability because she did not deliver on the promise that, that she made? Anyway, in 12 years, Liberia is still very, very poor country. Chronically poor, for that matter. Still divided. Corruption is still very high, and all of that. So,
unemployment rate.
If she had really gone out to support Buakai, wouldn't she have been a liability instead of an asset?
No, she wouldn't have been. What they would have done is simple. I mean, speaking realistically, I shouldn't be saying this, but Buakai really doesn't have electoral value much. That is one. They call him Sleepy Joe, although he claims that it is just the way his face is. That, but so fine. What they would have done is to say, Madam, we know what you did, and we are not happy, but you are who you are. Let's have a family meeting. Let's, diplomacy. Let's say, okay, why did you do what you did? And we still want to use party. How do we build up going forward? Because if by taking away Sirleaf, they think they're going to make Buakai leader of the party. The Unity Party itself is, yes, I mean, they are just a party that chanced upon fortune. 1984, when they were founded, Samuel Doe was president, and Buakai was Minister of Agriculture under Samuel Doe when the party was formed. So as at then, the Unity Party lost to Samuel Doe, and where was Buakai? He was a government minister. So, I mean, today the tide has changed. You need to understand that in politics, interests are more important than anything else. And fundamentally, what Sirleaf had to do, which I have to say again, was that she acted in the interest of the state.
And not the party.
And not of the party per se. And I think that she rose a little bit above into the level of a stateswoman. Because, of course, the circumstances that brought her to power long premeditated that something like this could happen in the future. So now, they've done the deed anyway. The question is that, why didn't they sit back to say, this thing, I mean, like they say in my language, as they say, what happens in, let's say, TVC, stays in TVC, for instance. So,
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
How do we, Madam, how do we, what now is the place of the Unity Party going forward? Did you answer that question?
Yes, I was about to say that. Isn't this just a clear case of the party being in denial? Because if you do not address the problem you have, how do you move forward?
Exactly. And so you see, what they would have done was to say, okay, in light of you supporting
George Ware, clandestinely.
I mean, even almost openly. George Ware. What did you have in mind for the future of this party? And so in light of a George Ware presidency, how do we move forward? Those could have been, because now you see, if the next election season comes and this animosity continues, she might well say, okay, assuming that it so happened, the people that benefited from her anti-party activity outside George Ware's party and outside her own party, she well might say it's payback time. Where will that paper go? It won't go to the Unity Party. It goes right back into perhaps.
But you recall that speech that she made. You just referred to her as a stateswoman. Not even at the UN. The speech she made before the election to Liberians. That in itself, was proof that yes, she's really risen above party politics to statesmanhood, if one could put it that way. She spoke to Liberians, spoke to the young people, young Liberians, saying, look, it's time for you to take over your country. Take control. Do what you need to move this nation forward. How is that a bad thing?
Well, it is politically.
That the Unity Party, political. Okay, it was political.
Exactly.
It's in politics. It's in politics for you to be a party member, party leader for that matter, and then under your watch, we are having avoidable, and that is to put it mildly, because it could have been you orchestrating, actually orchestrating the party's downfall or the party's weakness. Now, almost all the other power blocks that are outside the UP are virtually rallying around the CDC.
Yeah.
And if this groundswell continues up until the next election season,
in essence,
it means that somebody is going to have a roller coaster ride.
Yes, indeed. And in essence, isn't it supposed to be about the people? After all, power resides with the people. We know how politics is played in the United States, especially in the build-up to the presidential election. Republicans, many of them didn't support Donald Trump.
I like to say something when I say, when I speak at a forum like this. Yeah. There is a difference between when you're a party member and when you're not even a politician. Okay, we see things differently. They see it's like two sides to a coin, pink and blue. They see it from that point of view. If you're a party member, I'll be aggrieved because I have worked for the party, have labored for the party, I have invested, and my leader turns around. You know,
to undermine your efforts.
So I mean, it's painful, but so somehow I think perhaps
what's the future for Sirleaf? One word.
Future for Sirleaf. I think George Weah owes her a debt of gratitude, and he's going to make sure he protects her interests.
Liberians too, really. Thank you very much for your analysis, Cyril Abako, senior researcher here at TVC. Thank you for coming for the analysis.